Carl, welcome to this week's edition of In the Dugout. We'll start off with talking about the York game this weekend. It's been a couple of weeks now since the loss at Workington, and another tough test this weekend.
Yeah, it will be. They're a real tough team. That they've already beat us at their ground once, and it'll be another battle. It's a very, very important game for both clubs. Obviously we're both trying to make the five, and we've got Keighley on our heels, so we need to go there fully focused, and we need to try and win that game, and so do York. So it's going to be a battle. It's a cup final, and we need to prepare for that. And hopefully the boys have had their rest and they're ready to go. But it's a game we're certainly looking forward to. We've played them once there and they beat us, so we need to go there and we need to perform. But it's going to be a cracker.
How much can we learn from that defeat earlier on in the season? And I think it was a poor performance, wasn't it, on Good Friday, and maybe let ourselves down a little bit with the way we performed. So a lot of things we can take from it and improve from.
Well, what I do think is the two teams are different, because obviously they've brought some players in on loan, and we've brought some players in on loan. So the two teams will certainly be different from the two teams that played on that Good Friday. But what we learn from it is York don't go away. For a club that is before the season started, they didn't really have a team or know what they were doing. John Flatman's gone in there, and they're doing well. They're doing real well. So they beat Toronto, so that says it all. If they're on the money and they're up for the game, then you're in trouble. So we need to go there, and 40 will certainly have them up for the game, and probably earmark this as they do always, as a big game for them. And the crowd will turn out, I'm sure. And two good clubs, and two teams that'll be going at it hard, I'd say, this week. There's no holding back. It's games we need to win, and we both need to win them.
Yeah, that win against Toronto, they're the only team to beat Toronto this season, aren't they? So it shows how much quality they've got in their side, and when given the opportunity they can really punish it.
Well, they built that game up and really promoted it and got over 2,000 in there. But not only did they build it up, they backed it up. They came out where you could go the other way if you build yourselves up for a game like that, to get a big crowd in, and against a team like Toronto, if you're on the wrong end of a scoreboard, then that's the end of that crowd. So hats off to them. They built it up, and then they backed up their words and went out there and really put Toronto to the sword, and they beat them. So good on them.
And they have got a real togetherness there as well, haven't they? You mentioned the crowd there. That's another sign of, since the start of the season, they've really come together as well, and that's probably why they're doing so well in the league.
Yeah, and there's a lot that we look at, what they're doing over there, and think, right, can we learn anything from them? And probably we can. And just the way they're promoting games and the stuff they're doing off the field seems to be working for them. But again, York, the town will back them, and similar to the other rugby league towns. So we know we got to be better at that department, and our communications and all that sort of stuff. And it's stuff we're really working on hard here. But it's a slow burner for us. But I can't praise York enough. They've had a great season, and it's going to be a cracking game.
Moving on to the Dons then, the Dugout last week was filmed down at Bentley, wasn't it? The players went there and had a good time, didn't they? I think the players enjoyed it just as much as the young lads did as well. How much can that do for a club like us?
It's something we've got to do more of. I was absolutely blown away with the amount of kids that were there, and apparently there was over 50 kids missing, so it's definitely something we've got to do more of. And for the last home game, any kid from Tolbar, Bentley, Moor Ends turns up here with their kit on, they're representing their clubs, will be allowed to come in for free, any kids under 16, and we'll look at doing a deal for the parents as well. So we'll do a lot more of that. Like I said before, I wish the season was just starting, because the players loved it, the kids down there loved it. All sat and watched the boys train at the end, and for us, we need to go out into the community and do that sort of stuff, and if we want them to come in here and watch us. So it was important, and I'd like to thank Bentley for welcoming us. To see all the ex-boys down there who have played the game for many years, putting something back in to the young kids was great.
And the likes of Kieran Cross, who've made that step up, just like a few of those young lads will be hoping to do, he can act as a sort of hero to them, can't they? Can look up and see he's made the move. They'll be wanting to do the same as well.
Yeah, and we're looking at putting things in place, with these kids who play for their respective clubs. But if we can look at, we're looking at the junior dons, which is the 5 to 11-year-olds, and then the sort of maybe the team dons 12 to 15, 16s, and then we've got the foundation. So there's a pathway all the way through, and they become a team within the club themselves, and that's the whole clubs as a collective, the free community clubs, and get them back down here watching us, and we need to go out to them. I keep saying it a lot more, but if you can get that pathway all the way through, hopefully the end result will have some of them end up playing for the Dons.
And going from one end of the spectrum to the other, then the Dons dual reg club Hull FC won their second Challenge Cup trophy in a row last week, didn't they? And they're becoming a real driving force in Super League now, aren't they? Forever there was the sleeping giants for a long time, but now they're really becoming the team that can go on and win those trophies.
Gee, that must hurt you to say that, eh? Oof. I'll let you all know Robbie's a big Wigan fan, and he's saying that with gritted teeth behind me. But yeah, no, Hull, congratulations to Radders and Adam Pearson and Everett Motu and all them over in Hull. Wow, what a club, and they did it tough. It was a real tough game, but they're proving themselves on the big stage. Brilliant. I'm really happy for them. They're good, hard-working people. They ain't got to where they have got, just by swanning around in luck. Those boys over there work really, really hard, and they deserve everything they get, because I know the hours they put in, and Radders never stops. It's just him, and that's the culture they've set. They've set standards, and the younger boys respect the older boys. They've got quite a good culture there at Hull now, and it's something that's a togetherness. They are all tight, and it shows when the games really get tough, that everyone's prepared to put their hand up and take the ball out of the end zone where not many people like doing it, but at Hull, any one of them will do that for their mates. So massive respect to them, and to win the Challenge Cup twice is fantastic. I think they can have a say in the other trophy, and if they get to the big stage, you wouldn't back against them.
Staying with the Hull connection, then we've had the news this week that Feka Paliasina will retire at the end of the season. How big a blow is that, not just for us on the pitch, but his personality as well around the club? Yeah,
listen, Fex is an honest man, and he's spoken to myself and Rich, regularly about this decision, and he's got another year's contract here, and the type of bloke he is, he could have just sat back and took that deal, but he's not wanting to play on longer than he thought, and it was quite a emotional time for me, because I wanted him to stay, but he's realised his body's, he said, after the Achilles injury, it really knocked him a bit, and he's got to probably look at himself and his family and wanting to walk around and that with his kids, and if that Achilles was to snap, he could be in some trouble there. So that knocked him a bit, and he's been doing a lot of travelling, and he's just got to the stage where he knows himself, and as much as anyone tries to convince him that now he's moved to Hull and it'll be a lot easier and all that, he thinks his body's telling him that it's time, and so he's sadly he's said he wants to retire, and at the end of the season he'll be done. So he's a great pro, on the field and off the field. He set some good standards and some morals at Hull, and certainly he set some at this club, which the boys know all about, and he'll be a big loss, but he'll still be around. with him being at Hull now, he's working there, so he'll still do bits with us. So it's a tough one for us, but for me it's a massive announcement that, you know, Feka has decided to retire at the end of the year, and he's one of those fellas who don't want to make nothing of it, and he says, I don't want a big issue about it to me, and let's just get through the season and then I'll just go away and do my thing. But he doesn't know how everyone respects him and loves him, and so it's a tough one, but we have to respect his wishes, and so he'll retire at the back end of the season, and I hope that he gets the plaudits that he deserves, because he's been in the game a long time and he's done everything in the game, and he's a great family man.
And with a few games to go this season and then the playoffs, it's a chance to send him out on a high note, isn't it? If we can try and force our way into the playoffs, then anything's possible, isn't it, when it comes down to a one-off game? So we've really got a good chance to send Feka out.
Oh yeah, and he'd love to go out and win us the promotion final and all that, but you know, Fek's nobody knows, but he's been doing it tough, and you know, he'll want to do everything he can to try and finish on a high. So we know that, but that's up to him and Richard. They'll speak, and hopefully he'll go out on a high, and you know, we wish him well.